Hey everybody, 7 here. Planet Crafter has just had a massive new update. There's a new place to explore, there's new things to build, there's a new blueprint to decode, there's updates and changes to pre-existing structures, there's behind-the-scenes stuff, some optimization things to talk about, there's massive... You thought the automation and lore had automation. This has incredible implications on the automation. So let's dive right into this and let's get going. First things first, I made an energy cell. We're going to go to the new place to explore first. Now I know I probably put something in the thumbnail about drones and fish and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. We're going to need to open this thing first. There's a new type of gas. Now your current gas extractors will work. You don't need to build new ones. You just need to tear them down and pop them back up, and then they'll immediately start getting the new gas, which is nitrogen. Alright, so we're over here in the desert ship, and this was not here before. Pop that in, check it out. It's all lit up. And now there's 2 extra rooms that we can get into. Which, it always looks like there should have been. Oh no, actually there's 3 extra rooms that we can get into. Forgot about that. There's these 2 here. I don't obviously need any of this. This was what I was here for. Right, there should be 1 more down here somewhere. Assuming this damn tree didn't get in my way. There we are. So we've got the big ship, that big capital class ship that's out in the desert, is now even more explorable. And there's very cool things in there. There's actually a lot more resources in there than what meets the eye, and that's what we're going to get to next. So here's the gas extractors. And as you can see now, they're starting to produce the nitrogen canisters. We're going to need a ton of those in a sec too. Now, there's also 1 more blueprint that we can unlock as well. So let's hit that one. Actually, now that I think about it, there's 2, but the other one, it's usually one that you're going to already have. Now, the deconstruction tier 2, that is what we needed, but we actually already had access to it. I don't know if this is going to be something that's going to change, but when I first popped into here, I noticed that I already had access to this thing. So even though we just unlocked that with a microchip, it might be one of the ones where you can unlock it with the just progression of the terraformation index, or get an early unlock with the chip. It might have been a bug where this is the development stage, it just came out just today. So this might be, you know, going away as a pre-existing unlock. It might be required for the chip. I'm not sure. It's all the early access stuff. Now, when you create this, you won't actually have to have both of them. So it's not like you need this for regular deconstruction and this for the advanced deconstruction. This is just going to replace it altogether, and you'll be able to do all of your previous deconstruction that you could have done with the other deconstructor chip. It's just this one now lets you get even more stuff. Alright, so here we are back out in the desert, and this is where the fun starts. All of these server looking things, these like computer terminal kind of looking guys, they're all destroyed into computer chips. Now, there is a recipe that you can look up, I think in the biolab, that does allow for the creation of these new microchips, but as you can see, you can get just so many of them now. Now, given how many of these you've already seen in racks and, you know, underground bases and stuff like that, you might think, okay, well, this brand new resource is obviously, you know, very easy to come by. It is fairly easy to come by, but that's a good thing, because you're going to need a ton of them. Now, the next piece that I'm about to talk about ties very closely with these guys. So here we have 2 tier 3 extractors. We have a titanium guy right here, an iron guy right here. Now, everybody knows that you can just put these anywhere, go up to the screen, and just tell it what to bring out. That's changed. The incoming adjustment, which I, for one, I know I've been thrilled about this. I've talked about it in my series a little bit. I've wanted this. I wouldn't call it a nerfing, but it just makes it more logical. It is a rebalance. So I was definitely in the camp that these were overpowered. They're getting an adjustment. They're keeping the size of their chest. They're keeping their ability to focus and only get one singular item. However, just like with the tier 1 and tier 2s, they now have to go in their actual appropriate locations. So if you want osmium, you have to set it in the osmium cave, program it to pick up osmium. If you want the zeolite, got to put it in the zeolite cave. If you want to get aluminum, you have to have it in the aluminum fields, etc. So they will retain all of their previous abilities, just now you have to have them in the right spot. Now I know, before everybody starts flipping out about my automation. No. Automation got even easier and lazier than it ever has been before. And that's the next part we're going to talk about. Alrighty, so we've got another fusion cell, osmium rod, super rod, and 3 of these new circuit boards that we're picking up. We're now going to be able to make this. Now, bear in mind, pretty much everything that we're going to see in this video is very, very power hungry, so get ready to be kicking out those pulsar quartz. So, this is the drone station. It comes with 2 screens. One, simply craft. The other is an inventory section. And now you'll notice a new icon. Over here, this thing, demand and supply. Let's kick up a couple of drones and we'll see what that actually does. Now, as it stands right now, again, everything's subject to change because this is the early access mode. So everything's subject to change. They are very easy to make. 1 rocket, 1 iron, 1 circuit board. Let's get 5. You see all of our little friends are over here. Now, watch this. Here's our osmium locker. We're going to go here. Now this locker has this. Go over to demand, hit it. You have the entirety of every possible material, every possible product, resource, everything. Hit osmium. Go over to teleporter. Now we do this. Apply. Osmium. Apply. Osmium. And now our 5 little friends are busy screaming across the map in the straightest, most direct line possible. And they have this neat little phasing effect. They'll kind of like glow a little bluish green, and they can phase right through walls, right through buildings, right through things that you've constructed, and they will beeline directly to anything that you've labeled as supply, take out the stuff that's there, and then go find a box that you've labeled as demand. And you can see this little icon that these guys are actually earmarked. See? Bing, bing, bing. Oh, nuts, I must have missed. Oh, wait, no. I just saw one. They're incredibly fast, so you really got to be looking for them. Oh, there goes one. They also make a cute little noise when they're flying around and dropping things off and stuff. So they're not here yet, but they are on their way. But you can now set everything. Here's my iron. Fly, iron. Here's my iron locker. And iron. And you can do this between lockers. You don't have to do this just with the extractors. That is probably going to be the ultimate goal for most people, is to set up extractors, have them do their supply and their demand. But you can set them even between different containers. So here we see that I've got an exterior autocrafter set for bacteria samples. I could actually set this to supply bacteria samples. Then I go inside and I have a locker that I want to earmark for mutagens and bacteria and stuff like that. Now we go demand bacteria samples. And those 5 little guys will independently, automatically, just whatever's next on deck and whatever's next on their list. They'll just fly out there, and you can actually see them. They physically reach the target area, swipe through it lightning fast. They're incredibly quick little buggers. They'll pick up what's needed, and then they'll drop it off. And then they're smart enough to stop once either a container that they're pulling out of gets empty, or the container that they're dropping into gets full. Then they stop and move on to another task. Now, this is the next thing we're going to have to talk about. The fish stage is unlocked. And where it all goes down is with the same place that we made all of our butterflies. And now we have fish eggs. Before we get into these, we have another construct that we got to put together first. There it is. And see him phase through? Just phase through everything, then drop it off. They'll even phase right through you if you're just standing there. So this is the prerequisite for the fish stage. The water life collector gives you these little amoeba looking things. So 2 bioplastic nuggets, 1 super, and 3 silk. Plunk this down anywhere in the water. Doesn't have to be particularly deep or anything. It functions similarly to a beehive. So you put it down, and it's got storage. So in this storage, as it's going along, you're going to start to see these little amoeba things that are going to start spawning in there. Kind of like a gas extractor, or like the bigger beehives. It's going to have multiple items that's going to be coming in. So these get bee larvae, also sometimes honey. The gas extractors now are getting 3 things. So you'll go over to a gas extractor, you'll see methane, you'll see oxygen as per usual, but now you're also seeing the nitrogen. The gas extractors also have an increased inventory space now to kind of accommodate for, there's 3 randomized items that are being collected, and the nitrogen is pretty important right now. So while I'm waiting on the amoebas to start growing, let's talk about a few of the smaller changes. The tier 2 algae spreaders have been pretty dramatically revamped. The area of effect that they occupy is actually significantly smaller now. So you can see the algae isn't growing all over the place. The graphic for it is there, but the actual algae itself is very densely contained. So the area shrunk, I think, by about half. However, they also increased the productivity of it by almost double, I think. So you're going to get a ton more algae, and it's going to be way more densely packed. The reason for them doing this, they actually explained it, was they wanted you to be able to get the algae spreader closer and easier access to your autocrafters, and have the autocrafters have an easier time picking up the algae. The autocrafter and the algae not playing nice together is something that they've been aware of for a very long time, and they've been addressing it the best they can. For this being a husband and wife 2-person operation, I mean, what a development team. This has been an incredible update, and they've taken every concern of the fans to heart, and they've really addressed things. Speaking of addressing things, they've also addressed a lot of the drills. The drills have, a lot of motion to them, a lot of animation to them, and they've done optimization issues with, just making them use less system resources so that they look cooler, look sleeker, and that the motion that they go through is a bit better animated, while also being easier on your RAM and your graphics card. Let's start trying to get into this fish stage. So here we have the first of our little guys coming in. We have some of these too. What you can get is A's, B's, and C's. Now you're going to have access to the A's and B's immediately right off the bat. The C's are going to be a different story. And here is a new unlock screen. So we can get some of the eggs right now. Other eggs we need to wait until we use the eggs that we have access to in order to get the more advanced eggs. We also have a new mutagen that we can play with. This is only accessible through the blueprint schematic. I haven't seen a single terraformation screen that has this listed as an unlock, so this is only going to come with the blueprint. Alright, so now that we've got a couple of these, let's start making some fish. So you need an A, a tier 3 mutagen, and a regular fertilizer. So there's our A, there's our fertilizer, there's our tier 3, and set it just like you would a butterfly. But also just like a butterfly, you need a place to put them in. So you can quickly see just how important the silk is going to become. You're going to want at least 2, I would say probably 3 of the silk generators. Watch what happens to the incubation thing when a fish gets generated. The tree fades out, bubbles fade in, and there's your fish. It doesn't look like much, but wait. Alright, so we have our 2 nuggets, 3 silk, and an A. Put that thing anywhere. And then sort of similar to the tree spreaders, the butterfly things, put that guy in. And now there are fish. And the fish look absolutely incredible. They're metallic. They move in actual schools. I can see why this took so long. And that's just the first fish. We have several others to get into. Your other immediate unlock is the fish 3 eggs. I don't understand what the number designation is for, if anything. They don't have a percentage. Like you notice with, these guys, 230, 120, 250, and then you get the advanced ones, the 1000, the 1200, I'm sure that the fish 1 eggs, fish 3 eggs, they probably have some sort of designation. I'm sure that these have some unwritten percentage behind them as to how they're going to grow, one tree seed in a tree spreader versus another tree seed in a tree spreader. You're going to get better plant generation and better biomass out of the higher end tree seeds. Then here on this screen, you see that we finally have animals moving. Very, very slowly, yes, because we just put our very first one down. Let me get a couple of unlocks going, and I'll show you the rest. And there's our second fish. These guys are very cool looking too. Honestly, every successive fish that you make is just cooler and cooler than the last. Alright, so let's get this guy put down, and then we'll get it loaded with the new guys. We'll see what they look like. Check that out. Very, very cool tropical looking guys. Now in my hardcore playthrough, I have actually unlocked both of these fish. Believe me when I tell you, they are absolutely amazing. I'm going to leave it on this one though, just to let you guys unlock those. Don't want to give everything away. But you can see the initial 2 ones are going to come from biomass, so you're going to be able to get these just with your regular tree spreaders and stuff like that. So I guess you were transitioning from the plant stage to the insect stage. This one gave you, these little guys fairly early on, along with the butterfly dome, so that you could, get those insects moving to get the insects going, which then got you bigger and better insects to give you more stuff. This is the same way. It's going to give you better and better fish to get your animals moving. So to summarize it all up, our extractors have to go where they actually have to go now, but we have these wild little automated UFO server bot things that are going to fly out, go pick up anything you tell them to pick up, bring it back to whatever locker you tell them to dump it off in. Some pretty significant behind-the-scenes performance issues with the drills and a couple of heaters being adjusted, so your performance should be pretty well increased. We have the animal stage is actually unlocked. You're going to have to jump through a couple of hoops because you need the algae stuff that comes out of those guys in order to make the fish, to put them into the new fish spreaders. The algae itself has been very severely revamped, way denser with way more algae being produced in a confined area. Should make your autocrafters work out a whole lot better. And we have new gas extractors, which you can put them actually on top of buildings, which will also make your automation that much easier. So you'll be able to get now methane, nitrogen, and oxygen out of the gas extractors. The very first thing that you should do when you get in is make yourself a fusion energy cell, because there's one more place for us to explore now. And it's very cool. But anyway, guys, I hope you're absolutely as thrilled about this new update as I am, and I can't wait to dive into this more and start playing with all the new fish and really start growing this place. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe give it a like, and if you want to see more of what I've got, please subscribe. This is Evan. Bye.